So this is the Pendulum. I noticed the writing there is in Russian. It's a fairly short, again, it's a fairly short game. However, what I am going to do is once again just change the title of the game we're playing on the stream to ensure that people know what it is. And now you'll probably hear me again. I need to just get into this. You're going to hear me do this all over again. Sorry about this. Just take a moment. Just taking a moment. That's the only downside, you know. You have to obviously alter everything as you go. When you're sitting here doing it yourself, it's a little more difficult. But still. This is the pit. And the... Oh, it doesn't show up. So I guess we've got to set it as games and demos. There we go. Games and demos. This is the pit and the pendulum. And if I just get rid of this for the moment. Right, let's get back to it. So this is a different game again. The Pit and the Pendulum, as I say, based on the story by Edgar Allan Poe. I have played this game through one time just to see exactly how everything works. And it works alright. Let's start a new game and see what you think of it. Start a new game. I don't know what that says. Impia tortorum longas hic turba furores sanguinis innocui non satiata aluit. But I don't know what it actually means. If somebody does, they can always tell me. That rat looks like it's scheming. So we're in Toledo, in Spain, in the courthouse. During the height of the Spanish Inquisition. I was sick, sick unto death, with that long agony, and when they at length unbound me, and I was permitted to sit, I felt that my senses were leaving me. The sentence, the dread sentence of death, was the last of distinct accentuation which reached my ears. I saw the lips of the black-robed judges. They appeared to me white, whiter than the sheet upon which I traced these words, and thin even to grotesqueness, thin with the intensity of their expression of firmness, of immovable resolution, of stern contempt, of human torture. Because that's what they were all about, really. These inquisitors look a bit weird as well. And then my vision fell upon the 7 tall candles upon the table. At first they wore the aspect of charity, and seemed white and slender angels who would save me. But then all at once there came a most deadly nausea over my spirits, and I felt every fibre in my frame thrill as if I had touched the wire of a galvanic battery. While the angel forms became meaningless spectres with heads of flame, and I saw that from them there would be no help. I felt that I lay upon my back, unbound. I longed, yet dared not to employ my vision. I dreaded the first glance at objects around me. At length, with a wild desperation at heart, I quickly unclosed my eyes. My worst thoughts then were confirmed. The blackness of eternal night encompassed me. I struggled for breath. The intensity of the darkness seemed to oppress and stifle me. The atmosphere was intolerably close. I still lay quietly. I made effort to exercise my reason. I brought to mind the inquisitorial proceedings and attempted from that point to deduce my real condition. The sentence had passed, and it appeared to me that that a very long interval of time had since elapsed, yet not for a moment did I suppose myself actually dead. Such a supposition, notwithstanding what we read in fiction, is altogether inconsistent with real existence. But where and in what state was I? I need a drink, sorry, just a sec. The condemned to death I knew perished usually at the autos de fe. I don't know. And one of these had been held on the very night of the day of my trial. Had I been remanded to my dungeon to await the next sacrifice, which would not take place for many months? This I at once saw could not be. Victims had been in immediate demand. Moreover, my dungeon, as well as all the condemned cells at Toledo, had stone floors, and light was not altogether excluded. What the hell's happened now? I clicked out. A fearful idea now suddenly drove the blood in torrents upon my heart, and for a brief period I once more relapsed into insensibility. Upon recovering, I at once started to my feet, trembling convulsively in every fibre. The agony of suspense grew at length intolerable, and I cautiously moved forward. Can I go around this? I proceeded for many paces, but still all was blackness and vacancy. I breathed more freely. It seemed evident that mine was not, at least, the most hideous of fates. I can't do anything with the pit yet. I think technically he can't see anything. We can see, but he can't. I cautiously moved forward. There have been strange rumours of the dungeons here. I just have to walk around, I think. Was I left to perish of starvation in the subterranean world of darkness? Was that just the same thing again? I feel like it might have been. Let's go around one more time. He's not saying anything else now, is he? Is there a banging somewhere? My outstretched hands at length encountered some solid obstruction. It was a wall, seemingly of stone masonry, very smooth, slimy, and cold. I need to follow it. Is this so that you can work out what size the room he's in is? I followed it up, stepping with all the careful distrust with which certain antique narratives had inspired me. Well, yeah. This process, however, afforded me no means of ascertaining the dimensions of my dungeon, as I might make its circuit and return to the point whence I set out without being aware of the fact. So perfectly uniform seemed the wall. I therefore sought the knife which had been in my pocket when let into the inquisitorial chamber. But it was gone. My clothes had been exchanged for a wrapper of coarse serge. I had thought of forcing the blade in some minute crevice of the masonry so as to identify my point of departure. Okay, but you don't have a knife, so there's no point worrying about that, is there? Because you have nothing. There is no way to get anywhere. So what else can we do? I think you would, like, feel a draft from there, surely, or something, wouldn't you? Like, surely there's some... You can't hear anything from those. Oh, hang on, what's this? I tore apart the hem from the robe and placed the fragment at full length and at right angles to the wall. Okay. Did you? Where? Is this so that you can measure it again? So that you can find the bit... Oh yeah, so you can find the bit of fabric that he left. So if we go back to this corner, he should be done, no? No, not at all? You're not done, no? I don't really see what we're doing. Okay, yeah, you did that. Now what? It's very odd. Nothing there. What exactly is he trying to do? Nothing. Can he not find it? He's done this and now it's no use? I don't really know. We're just walking around a square room, doing very little. These noises, there must be noises coming from here. I didn't know that the Spanish Inquisition had created speakers. They're just piping in discordant sounds. But I can't do anything. Don't understand. Hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. Let's try and find out what's going on. Let's find out. I maybe need just some Guidance. Let me see. Is it this one? I'm just going to have a quick look and just see if there's something that suggests what the hell I'm supposed to do here. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. So there's more than one game based on the Pit and the Pendulum, apparently. Maybe it's that one. Sorry, I'm just trying to find some help. But I don't see anything that's going to help me at all with this game. So I'm kind of sitting here thinking, well, what do I do now? Just go down the hole. End it all. No, don't. So did he do that thing with the... Oh, right. Oh, hang on. So now I have an inventory. In groping my way around the prison, I could not fail to encounter this rag upon completing the circuit, so at least I thought. But I had not counted upon the extent of the dungeon or upon my own weakness. Oh! He collapsed on his face! Upon awaking and stretching forth an arm, I found beside me a loaf and a pitcher with water. Probably shouldn't touch it though. Did he drink it? Is he alive now? I resumed my tour around the prison. Alright, do that then. Is he doing it himself? Okay. He's doing it himself this time. With much toil I came at last upon the fragment of the surge. There were in all then 100 paces, and admitting 2 paces to the yard, I presumed the dungeon to be 50 yards in circuit. I had met, however, with many angles in the wall, and thus I could form no guess at the shape of the vault. For vault I could not help supposing it to be. That's basically just what a big room is, isn't it? Nothing else to do there. Oh! My forehead seemed bathed in a clammy vapour, and the peculiar smell of decayed fungus arose to my nostrils. I put forward my arm and shuddered to find that I had fallen at the very brink of a circular pit, whose extent, of course, I had no means of ascertaining at the moment. It's deep. Do we have anything we can drop down? Oh, there's a stone. Yeah, go on then. For many seconds I hearkened to its reverberations as it dashed against the sides of the chasm in its descent. At length there was a sullen plunge into water, succeeded by loud echoes. At the same moment there came a sound resembling the quick opening and as rapid closing of a door overhead, while a faint gleam of light flashed suddenly through the gloom, and as suddenly faded away. I saw clearly the doom which had been prepared for me, and congratulated myself upon the timely accident by which I had escaped. To the victims of the Inquisition there was the choice of death, with its direst physical agonies, or death with its most hideous moral horrors. I had been reserved for the latter. By long suffering my nerves had been strung, until I trembled at the sound of my own voice, and had become in every respect a fitting subject for the species of torture which awaited me. In other conditions of mind I might have had courage to end my misery at once by a plunge into one of these abysses, but now I was the veriest of cowards. Neither could I forget what I had read of these pits, that the sudden extinction of life formed no part of their most horrible plan. Agitation of spirit kept me awake for many long hours, but at length I again slumbered. More food. I must have been drugged, for scarcely had I drunk before I became irresistibly drowsy. A deep sleep fell upon me, a sleep like that of death. Oh, look at some people. Go on, there's not much more to go. I can't. I haven't eaten for the last 2 days. Is this food for His Grace? Yes, I am taking these fresh fruit to His Grace. We shall take a couple of vegetables from this basket for our prisoner. But they're for His Holiness. I promise he won't find out. No one's going to count. Fine. Hey, Aaron, let's play a game with our friend. What game, Augustine? We'll divide the vegetables into pairs and mix them up. Then our friend will close his eyes and try to match them in some period of time. This is like the horrible behaviour of the guards employed by the Inquisition, you know. How are they going to make it bad? I mean, admittedly, they're giving him food that he shouldn't have, but how will they make this bad? How much time? I'll count to 30. If he doesn't make it, then he won't get anything. He won't make it. Let's bet on it. I bet 1 coin. It's a deal. Well then, my friend, are you up for it? I'll try. Oh, there we go. That's 1. Another 1. That one. Nope. Easy. 13 seconds. No problem at all. Good, here you go. Right, is that it? Did I get it? Oh, I got a tomato. Yummy. We got a tomato. Or tomato if you prefer. I don't, so. How long it lasted, of course, I know not, but when once again I unclosed my eyes, the objects around me were visible by a wild sulphurous lustre, the origin of which I could not at first determine. I was enabled to see the extent and aspect of the prison. In its size had been greatly mistaken. The whole circuit of its walls did not exceed 25 yards. For some minutes this fact occasioned me a world of vain trouble. Vain indeed. I had been deceived, too, in respect to the shape of the enclosure. The general shape of the prison was square. What I had taken for masonry seemed now to be iron or some other metal, in huge plates whose sutures or joints occasioned the depression. The entire surface of this metallic enclosure was rudely daubed in all the hideous and repulsive devices to which the charnel superstition of the monks has given rise. The figures of fiends in aspects of menace, with skeleton forms and other more really fearful images, overspread and disfigured the walls. I observed that the outlines of these monstrosities were sufficiently distinct, but that the colours seemed faded and blurred, as if from the effects of a damp atmosphere. I now noticed the floor too, which was of stone. In the centre yawned the circular pit from whose jaws I had escaped, but it was the only one in the dungeon. I now lay upon my back, and at full length on a species of low framework of wood. Yeah, you mean it's on like a platform. That's really what it is. To this I was securely bound by a long strap resembling a surcingle. It passed in many convolutions about my limbs and body, leaving at liberty only my head, and my left arm to such extent that I could, by dint of much exertion, supply myself with food from an earthen dish, which lay by my side on the floor. I saw to my horror that the pitcher had been removed. I say to my horror, for I was consumed with intolerable thirst. This thirst it appeared to be the design of my persecutors to stimulate, for the food in the dish was meat pungently seasoned. Looking upward, I surveyed the ceiling. It was some 30 or 40 feet overhead and constructed much as the side walls. In one of its panels, a very singular figure riveted my whole attention. This skeleton. Death. It was the painted figure of Time, as he's commonly represented. Save that, in lieu of a scythe, he held what, at a casual glance, I supposed to be the pictured image of a huge pendulum, such as we see on antique clocks. Yeah, it's not an image. There was something, however, in the appearance of this machine which caused me to regard it more attentively. I fancied that I saw it in motion. Yeah, you definitely did. Light noise caught my ear. I looked at the floor and saw the huge horde of rats crossing it. A sight noise attracted my notice, and looking to the floor I saw several enormous rats traversing it. They'd issued from the well, which lay just within view to my right. Yeah, that's your left, mate. Even then, while I gazed, they came up in troops, hurriedly, with ravenous eyes. Allured by the scent of the meat. Is there some way that I could get them? I wonder. Did I just eat that? Oh, hello. Uh-oh. I feel like maybe there was something I could have done there, like grab a rat. I'm dead. You are dead. And it pulls back up. I think there was probably a way to escape that. Oh! I'm not dead. Gas! Looks like they're trying to poison me. Oh, get that, get that. And then douse it with water. Get it! Now I have a wet cloth, I can use it for protection from the gas. Yeah, so put it on. No? I'm not going to put it on, no. He's not going to put it on himself. Interesting. I've observed that, although the outlines of the figures upon the walls were sufficiently distinct... What? The colours seemed blurred and indefinite. These colours had now assumed, and were momentarily assuming, a startling and most intense brilliancy that gave to these spectral and fiendish portraitures. And I just completely bypassed all that. Have I actually covered myself or not? Has he put this on his face, or what's he done? Blood on the floor. We can't have that. What exactly are we doing? Can we grab a rat? Why are these rats running back and forward, I wonder? Doesn't appear to be any reason for it at all. So wait, have they... He said they were using gas, but I haven't... Can we do anything? Can't drink any water. Oh, hello, what's this? Even while I breathed, there came to my nostrils the breath of the vapour of heated iron. A suffocating odour pervaded the prison. Right, well, put the bloody thing on your face. No? Well, what am I doing? That's become very, very clear there, hasn't it? Slightly demonic images. Or maybe some strange things that the Inquisition did. Nothing there. Nothing there. What am I doing here? Is he supposed to use that? Is he just gonna... Can I do anything? Am I just supposed to keep walking around? I don't get it. I don't understand where we're supposed to go from here. Oh! And then something just changes. I panted, I gasped for breath. There could be no doubt of the design of my tormentors. Oh, most unrelenting, oh, most demoniac of men. I shrank from the glowing metal to the centre of the cell. Oh, it's heating up! So it's like he is actually in the Inferno. I felt that I had tottered upon the brink. I averted my eyes. Just jump in. It's fine. Oh, a hand. An outstretched arm caught my own as I fell, fainting into the abyss. It was that of General Lassalle. The French army had entered Toledo. The Inquisition was in the hands of its enemies. Saved at the last minute. Saved at the last minute from horrible frying or something. Oven boiling, maybe. So yeah, this is a game, it's actually a translation from a Russian game, I believe. And yeah, that was The Pit in the Pendulum.